Alright, well, hello viewers, and welcome back to our Let's Play of Panzer Campaigns Market Garden 44. So, from the looks of things, we are on turn number 19. Doesn't look like I moved any units just yet, so I guess this is kind of where we saved off, or no, maybe it looks like we've moved all of the units over here at Nijmegen Bridge and all, but that's pretty much it. So, well, with that said, let's get back to the game after taking, a short break. We took a look at the Steam release for Gary Grigsby's War in the East, which is also a very, very good series of kind of operational. I guess that one's actually much more grander in scale, but nevertheless, it is I would say it's a similar game, and if you chances are is that if you like this, you'd like that too. So, I think moving forwards here, if we don't have any reinforcements arriving, I think we were just about to link up some forces here. I remember we had the engineers going. They'll need a turn or two to get some things going here, but afterwards I think things will be good. It looks like kind of a quick refresher here. Near Nijmegen Bridge, we managed to isolate and disrupt some units. We managed to do some we managed to really kind of blunt the attack the Germans are putting from Germany here, using some of the reserve infantry. So, taking a look at some other portions of the front, the game will let me. There we go. Over here, we hold the heights. We've dug in to some extent at least, and our guys seem to be holding decently well. So, over here inside the north, we might want to pull back our infantry here, kind of inside the middle of the fields, back into the towns, and I think we'll do that very, very gradually. I see a lot of our troops are at max fatigue, and I believe that happens when you go over, I think, 300 or something like that. And what happens at fatigue is that it'll gradually lower the morale rating of your units. So in this case, it takes some very, very good paratroopers, and with what is essentially heavy fatigue, and get them to drop the morale C, which is what the game claims to be a regular type of average unit to be. And if they're disrupted with max fatigue, which is the maximum you have, they pretty much become useless. So with that kind of being apparent over there, we'll gradually pull them back and get them to rebuild some of their stamina like that. And in the meantime, what we'll see here is that what I kind of want to check out here is well, whether or not we have the amount of manpower needed to get the Irish Guards along their way to Arnhem in due time. So things are looking good here and here, except for this string of forces. But this is something we can deal with. And for now, what I think I'll do is I'll pull back the HQs. I'll get the engineers to set up over there, and I'll get some of these guys to redivert to the front. So, looks like the AI is trying to cut off the line here, and that's good. We managed to disrupt another troop. That'll make sure their fire is less than adequate, I guess. And I think I just grab all the other troops over here, and when we try to move to well, not necessarily encircle these guys, but to kind of crush them like that. Get some of our guys here to make an assault on some AT guns. Typically when you're assaulting AT guns, I mean, just because they're not really manned by that many people, you do have a better chance at that. So over here, I'm going to pull back my my infantry. I'd rather have 208 men rather than the 100 victory points for now. And overall, if these guys weren't digging in, I would probably send them up towards the front. From the looks of things over here, and I'm taking a look at what our troops can see. I'm guessing that the bridgehead over here doesn't honestly need to be held by the 101st any longer. I think now that these troops have linked up, we can get the paratroopers to fully kind of focus on holding back this attack. My reason being that afterwards we can push our forces even further down along the road. I mean, we have these two bridges. We see some minor activity over here. Take a look at the vision over here. So this might be just a lone troop. So some of these roads inside the back of these tiles might be clear. We'll send some more troops to take a look at that, but what I want to do right now in that case is I want to get a bridge established across the what is that, the Wehrmacht canal over here, and afterwards I think we just get things going. So let's do that. How this works is we would need to bring up the engineering team, and then afterwards we go engineer, bridge operations, and we kind of connect the two. The thing being that we need to do that when they have full movement points, so that'll be next turn. So we'll have to wait a turn for that either way. In the meantime, we can push these guys up, but I think it might be time for the Coldstream Guards here, well, whatever these guys here, or the Irish Guards, what am I saying, to take a short break. So we'll get them moving for now, but later on it might be good to keep them stalled up for a bit. The main thing being that their tanks, these tanks, they can't cross this unless they have that stone bridge opening, and opening that bridge will take quite some time. So currently I think we take a look at the different troops here. These two are engineers with bridge support, so we get them to move first. We get the tanks, put them in travel mode. The recon tanks, you know what, they can stay. And along the front here, yeah, I remember that they were making some sort of a raid. From the looks of things, our tanks are set up nicely to block them. And another troop over here is headed down along the road. The good thing being that these guys now can move much, much faster than the rest. So let's get the HQs up there as well. And the rest of these troops moving. Should probably start moving them single units, but that takes so long to do. Right, and with this unit right over here, the HQ for the 131st, we can also move them up so that I think this HQ, yeah, provides support for all of these guys, so that will be fairly important as well. So over here, what else should we do? What else should we do? Right, so speed is fairly important. Over here, let's get these guys to set up, make an assault on some traveling enemy, I don't know what these are, artillery pieces, I guess. Take out 3 of them, that does quite a bit of damage. The rest of the guns here, they probably won't be able to catch up in time, so we'll get them to settle down for now. We'll pull back these guys off from that bridge. Get a few of our guys across and over here. Let's see. Can we get the HQs across the river? Yes, we can. Perfect. So in that case, we'll get them across. And this looks like this is considered the self-propelled artillery is evidently considered a heavy unit, so we won't be able to move those guys across just yet. So in that case, I think all of these guys, with the exception of the HQ, need to stock up before they can move across the river here. So we'll get them to do that. Right, so that's one thing done. The infantry over here will hold down the fort for some time. And we can push these forwards. Oh, and there's still some SS left over here, so that's quite interesting. Those guys we'll have to deal with eventually, but for now we'll leave them as is. And I think we just skip to the next turn here, and I'll get the bridge ops going soon enough. And well, that'll take some time to set up the bridges, but afterwards things should be going along our way. But we'll see. Alright, so some very, very minor combat happening along the front. Seeing some movement here. Okay, and it looks like the cover is paying off near Arnhem. Yeah, they're not doing too much damage anymore. Oh, would you look at that? There were only 2 guns over there by the start. Okay, so that's not too bad. Right, so some more combat near the 2 stacks of infantry here. It looks like the German AI managed to free one of the stacks out of the 2. So that's kind of expected, so that's not too bad. And over here near Arnhem, from the looks of things, the emplacements are really starting to pick up the pace. So these improved, foxholes and trenches, they're really starting to save our guys. So this is good. And over here, so this is kind of where morale starts to become very, very important. A lot of these, what would ordinarily be very high quality troops, are starting to break down. So I'm going to get these 2. I don't care if they're digging in, but we're going to have to pull them back. And we're going to have to put up a new troop. So the 11th Paratroop Battalion here will have to hold off. And I guess we'll have to put them in place here. So this is, we'll try to put a lot more pressure on them. We managed to eliminate 1 enemy troop, which is pretty impressive actually. But I think we just pull everyone else back there to kind of stave off the fatigue. Over here inside the field, holding up against, I think I would imagine 9 or 8 tank or assault guns. That is fine. In the meantime, everyone else pulls back, and one of the things that one of the criticisms when Market Garden failed was that in reality the paratroopers landing here, they didn't necessarily have to hold the bridge, if you will. They could have held this ferry over here, which could transport tanks. So the game does try to make note of that. Now whether or not we will be able to hold that is another question, but we'll try and we'll see. So for now, I want to say we just get our forces over here to push forwards, grab some more tiles, and make the eventual trip to Arnhem very, very short. So over here, these forces, coincidentally, are still disrupted. These forces are also. Our forces are starting to break off, and we're starting to take a lot of fatigue damage as well. Over here, I want our people to occupy, of course, the foxholes. Over here, a lot of the paratroopers are starting to suffer from a lot of fatigue. These are, 2 of these are 1,000 man and above groups of real, infantry divisions. So that is going to be quite problematic. I think once we kind of eliminate these 2 blobs, that'll be the end of things. So we trade 11 men for 1,000 or so. That's pretty good. Trade, some more for some more right there. Things are pretty good. Would have liked to trade some more, but you know what, we'll drop some artillery on that. Drop some artillery on that as well. And then we make a few assaults here and there. And it doesn't look like, the game recognized that they had a viable move there, so we weren't able to do as many losses as we were able to kind of previously. So that kind of sucks. Hopefully if we fire here we do similar damage, but it doesn't look like it. Either way, this is a lot of their forces broken, and this should buy us some time here. Now, since it's the middle of the day, I want these guys to come up to the hill here, take a look at what they see, and if they don't see anything, I'm going to get them to gradually move towards the south. So they seem to be pulling back here. We still don't see any more vehicles, so I'm going to try to isolate these tanks and see what happens. So damn, it's going to take us another turn before the bridging ops happens, but we need to take them out of the movement mode as well. And I should have done that last turn, or I think we had enough movement points to do that last turn, but that's gonna kind of slow things down by another turn there. Along the front here, they don't seem to be able to, well, I don't know, they might be able to make one more push here, but that's pretty much it. So let's bring up some tanks, and we'll get these things to move as well whenever they can. Or maybe not. No, they don't seem to be able to make those moves. So in that case, we'll get, yeah, these things to shimmy over here. And that should encircle those two groups, or, you know, isolate them. So that's pretty good. Right, and in the meantime, we get our tanks and all over here to pull up. And that should be good. So now over here, let's grab some of the infantry from back here. And we'll get them to move forwards. Over here, we'll try and see whether or not we can move the one hex over here to try to encircle these guys. But would you look at that, they are smarter than that and knows what I would want to do right there. Question is whether or not they have any more guys back there. It doesn't look like they do, so maybe if we crush this pocket right over here first, afterwards we might be able to switch to the second right away. Again, what I'm trying to do is I would really rather not use our infantry coming down along the road to handle these areas, if at all possible. There we go, some more of their forces are arriving. Oh, man, I think I didn't move any of the people in town. Well, no, I did. Yeah, no, I did. So we did take full advantage of, you know, whatever we could do during the congestion, so that's not too bad. Right, so the artillery will go through, eliminating another formation there. Alright, so it looks like Arnhem isn't doing all too badly. This is good. This is really, really good. Right, so turn number 5. Reinforcements are available, so chances are is that we get very, very minor amounts of air forces dropping in. Looks like some engineers, some stuff like that, so that's not too bad. So these guys are fairly welcomed forces, which we will send likely upwards over here. I'm seeing a lot of enemy forces. So we will, yeah, we'll get them to move forwards shortly. Right now, I would rather, yeah, I would rather try to encircle some of those forces over there. I'm gonna pull back some of our forces to try to help that, to you know, try to accomplish that. Over here, would you look at that? We were able to encircle these guys. So this is pretty good. In that case, I'm going to send this column down towards the south. Doesn't look like there's anything here, but we won't be able to encircle them this turn. So we'll reinforce that. And this should be 2 more pockets of troops. So now this turn we can finally get the bridge operation started. So it'll prompt us here for which direction we want to build the bridge. We want to connect the roads, so that'll be, you know, north, or, you know, up as the game calls it. And that'll start bridge ops. So bridge ops will take time. It'll try to build a bridge, and I believe honestly it's just a random roll of the die each turn. So it can take, like, you know what, it could take 1 or it could take like 50. The thing being that we really just, you know, we really don't know. So we'll let that do its thing. And in the meantime, we'll get the rest of, you know, all of these guys forwards as best as we can. And afterwards, we'll crush this. Yeah, and typically there's a penalty for throwing, you know, your tanks up against the infantry. Typically in, I believe, forests or urban tiles, if you can't match their you know, raw manpower in terms of infantry. But in this case, it's all right. So we'll get them to do that. Yeah, Yeah, it'll take a while for the artillery to move through as well, eh? So in that case, let's see. These guys seem to be really caught up on this unit right over here, so I can't... Or, yeah, I can't seem to move all of these forces. What is this, actually? This seems to be the 8th Army Brigade. Yeah, I can't seem to move 8th Army... Oh yeah, 8th Army fully up along the road here, so I think we'll leave them as is. Over here, I think I can redirect the infantry towards, yeah, the artillery pieces over there, so we'll get them going. And over here, we might be able to crush another infantry unit. Yeah, that'll work out. And yeah, we'll be able to also do that over here as well. So I think that is pretty much all we have to do this turn. We could get these infantry to move forwards and to try to help out over here. But the thing is that I would rather get them to rest, probably. I mean, some of them have taken a decent amount of damage. So yeah, I think we'll get them to do that, and we'll send the reinforcements north. Over here, so now we start to see some more forces come down. It's still inside the middle of the day, so I can still take a look at what is available, or what these units can see. And it still doesn't look like this area right over here is occupied. If I were the AI, I would try to occupy the heights over here, but it doesn't look like it's doing that. So this is pretty good. So we still have some chance to reach our front over here. The tanks have occupied the what is this? The string of villages. So that is not too good for us. I'm gonna move forwards through here, but it doesn't look like there's too much stuff occupying the boundaries around the city here. And in one turn, we'll be able to pull back every single unit we have here to the heights, to very defendable locations. So this is pretty good. The paratroopers here should be able to bunker down for at least another few days. So this is pretty good in terms of Arnhem, though I'm not very excited that these troops have appeared. So taking a look at the rest of our forces, they are still fixed. They'll probably come into effect on day 3. So we'll have to hold out along the main road here till then. The artillery pieces have set up though, so this is quite nice. We can get them to fire like that. And that does no effect, of course. So in that case, we'll get them to reset up. I don't know if they are considered heavy units or not. From the looks of things, they aren't though, so this is pretty good. The AT guns don't seem to be considered heavy as well, so we'll move them forwards. I wonder if these light tanks are though. No, these things are still considered heavy vehicles, so we won't be able to move the Stuart tanks back. So that kind of sucks. Right, so in that case, they'll have to stay where they are. Let's get some of the infantry over here to reform, and we'll make them a full unit again. Over here, kind of the same deal. We'll get them to reform, make another unit. How are these guys so far apart from each other? We'll have to condense these guys. And right, over here, so things are good. And I think we've already handled the lower portion of the map, so that's that. There's only 2 units left here. A lot of these forces back here are disrupted now, so that's good. They used to be broken, so they're starting to rally. So now, I would really want to try to isolate these guys even further, but I don't think I'll be able to. So over here, I can get these guys to make an assault. That should push them back, or not. Make another assault here. Do some more damage to these isolated bands, but ideally we'll be able to isolate, or continue to isolate this one for some time being. Now, along the front, take a look at what they have disrupted, and looks like one of the big chunks are isolated. This one, however, is not, so we'll drop some artillery on them, take out 28 men. This is, you know, you had to remember, a concentrated group of about 1,000 men, so this should hit hard, but not hard enough that it takes out any, or, you know, disrupts them, hey? So that kind of sucks. Right, so I think that's just another turn done with. And, okay, so some very light combat along the front, not bad. And from the looks of things, they are, well, starting to regain cohesion. So they're starting, or they seem to be starting to try to raid our guys inside the south here. Or, you know, try to cut off Hell's Highway there. So that might be a bit of a problem. But we were able to rid, well, the HQ over there, so that should help out. Yeah, without the HQs, I don't know whether or not... I'm pretty sure it only slows down your troops in terms of disruption. It doesn't actually, like, cease their ability to regather, if you will. So that's not too bad, but nevertheless, that helps us out. Right, so over here, some very light combat. I think we lost the recon troop right there. I'm not sure, though. But either way, that did a fair amount of damage. And over here, there we go. Let's have another pocket built up. We can eliminate that real fast. But again, the main thing is that we really need to get some forces moving. So let's see. It is the last turn for the day. Air units are available. So again, some of the delayed units, 3 out of the 9 disrupted units are checked. 26 units recovered fatigue. So that is good, and we've improved 1 position. Right, so over here, let's get this unit to come on in. That should encircle that unit for next turn. Over here, this is already encircled. Let's make an attack. 38 men, make an attack. 18 men, make another assault, 10, and they're down to single digits, so no one has enough movement points to actually kill them off, so that kind of sucks. In that case, we'll get the rest of these guys to put up a defense for now. And we'll get the rest of these forces across. And moving. Hey, would you look at that? Congestion is gone. So this is good. At least that hurries up the initial portion right here. Right, so the good thing now is that we can get some more forces moving from there. Much easier than once before. And overall, we're still holding things quite nicely here. Let's get these guys to move in. Get them to... I believe these 2 forces... This one isn't isolated. This one is, though. So this is good. I'm going to make an assault here. This should, at the very least, push back that unit. And this should encircle this one down here. The one in the north, I believe, is... nope, it's not encircled fully. But you know what? I can grab, say, for example, the low on ammo one. That should surround all 6 hexes, so this area should be contained, which is quite nice. Taking a look at the bridge, this is still bridge ops, so this will take another turn or so. The rest of these half-tracks, let's take a look at their movement capacity. They are still stalled, so that is going to take some more time. In the meantime, I guess our troops will try to recover as much fatigue as possible. So namely, we haven't moved any of the infantry along the front here. So these are the forces that should be recovering from fatigue, and that'll come in handy later on. Over here, we should also have an isolate battalion of tanks, or, you know, isolate troop of tanks. Make an assault. And no effect, so no Panthers down. That really sucks. Right, so we'll have to try that out next turn. Over here, I think once we move this unit in right here, these guys are still disrupted. And luckily, we were able to re-surround all of these guys. So they are still broken. And you know what? I think I can honestly spare one troop to come down here and try to crush that pocket soon enough as well. So this is pretty good. Right, so we're all along the road. We get our guys to move forwards here, and no, you move forwards. You move over there. There we go. We'll try to keep this area open. And now we lost the heights here. So I think we can. Yeah, the main thing is that I would rather not lose any more troops to this core of SS. We can't. Yeah, no, the artillery pieces are unavailable. Eh? So I think we'll have to wait until these forces right over here get out of that max fatigue stage, and that'll just take time. So we'll leave them along the heights, and we'll let them do their thing. So I think this will be episode 5. We made a bit of an advance over here. We started bridge construction. It looks like the bridge detail won't be necessary until we reach over here, so that is pretty good. But you know, it might take us I would say maybe day 5 at this point to reach Arnhem Bridge. Anyhow, I think we'll end it here, and when we return, we will be back on what I believe will be well, day number 3. But bye till then.